In accordance with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, this channel is not to be viewed by children under the age of 13. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey everybody, Dragon King Mark here, and welcome to part 24 of Let's Play Ash from God's Redemption. Last we left off, well, we managed to talk with Anna about our destiny with Hopper, and as Thorn, we were on our way to Opicum. Now, you're probably wondering, weren't you already at the watchtower? I was, but when I loaded up the game, apparently it decided to pop me right at the wolf track instead. So I'm gonna have to go through all of that again. Normally I would be like, you know what, why don't you just, hold off on that. Yeah, just do this off screen and then just, try doing this if you can, like, start streaming when you can get there. Well, last time I did that, we had the Lo Fang incident. Oh, Han, right. I don't know why it auto-saved there. Still trying to figure that out. But I'll think of something. Besides, I figured we might as well have more time to chat this way. So, there was actually an event that just happened a few minutes ago where I found this little shrine. And I was able to use it. I was able to, well, I didn't really touch the shrine because it had like little strixes, but I did manage to deceive the locals, speak with the locals peacefully. I got some loyalty out of it. So, what else have I been doing? Well, besides from playing 13 Sandal Sage's room all day yesterday, not really a whole lot happened. My mom should still be asleep, so I'm trying to keep my voice low. But, other than, playing 13 Sandal Sage's room, it was pretty uneventful, honestly. Man. Mostly I just relaxed. Hey, get pot what's to talk about, honestly? I mean, I don't really have much to talk about. But well, tomorrow I'm definitely going to try getting my vaccination shot, so there's that to consider. A little bit worried, but it's the... I don't know which... It's the... I forgot the name of it. Because, like, there's two different types of the vaccine that give blood... that have the adverse side effects of blood clots, but this one is the one that I both had, so far they're okay. Other than that, I'm alright. I mean, I'm gonna be a little nervous about it. Hopefully I'll be okay. Other than that, yeah, maybe not a whole lot been happening with me today. Just been, chilling, playing some games. I got up early. Sleepy. So sleepy. Hey, there's pot. Bye, would he kill you to at the very least kill someone else? The Thin Fisk has amazing defenses. Oh yeah, I was also watching some anime the other day. 86, GD. I need to get back into horror. I need to watch the Horror Nia dub. episode that I forgot to watch last night. But I also remember my friend David and I got into watching old anime, and literally we got into a pretty interesting discussion about what was going on with that show. Because realistically speaking, that game if that game existed in real life, no one would play it. But it's sort of a bit of a realistic outcome for, you know, the game, honestly. Like, make it too hyper-realistic and people will no longer want to touch VR MMOs. I think it's like the one thing SAO and other VR MMOs of its nature didn't, which I thought is actually rather interesting. Wait, there's still a level up? Oh yeah, Brett. But, like, I don't think, like, I am impressed that they were able to explore that concept, like a hyper-realistic VR MMO. It really wouldn't actually work. I mean, SAO basically was able to pull it off because it was technically, well, kind of a cruddy game when you think about it mechanic-wise, but honestly, like, no way in hell would it actually survive. Like, realistically, a realistic MMO like that probably would not do that well. And people, like, you know, went back to its old style of games, which, honestly, I think they easily do that. But really, the main character hero, like, everyone's just calling him an idiot, considering all that happened to him in, like, the 3 episodes that we've seen. And even my friend David was like, yeah, I kind of have to agree with you on that. But also, I don't blame the hero for not wanting to touch anyone ever again. And we got into this big discussion about it. We were discussing, like he got scammed, basically, into playing that game no one else plays. Like, for good reason, honestly. Like, no one plays that game because it's too cruddy in real life. But there's a bit more to it that I think we're trying to figure out. I mean, what it means. Like, so far, like, after episode 3, I want to drop it. And I don't blame anyone for doing it. But it does raise a concern and a question in that, what exactly happened to the hero that made him, what's the MC that kind of made him not want to, you know, just be like a, just basically there was like a, he can get warning. Something happened. And episode 4 definitely has to, at the very least, say it. Like, if it wants to keep people invested, it's gotta give the why of all this. Because, so far the theories going around is he may have suffered an accident or something. Like David basically suggested that he suffered an accident, and even though he's fully healed, like mentally, he's still thinking he's hurting, and maybe he does all this as a sort of way to, like, he basically goes into the animals because he can basically, you know, still be a someone even though he can't run fast. Or maybe he suffered a catastrophic loss in the track team, or maybe got bullied off the track team. We don't know. But the 4th episode, if it wants to keep people invested, and it's also made by the guy who made Conscious Hero, so it's going to be comedic, but with a sense of dark humor. It got to, at the very least, explain why the white hero is the way he is. So, I'm curious, like, for me, I think Hero may have gotten into an accident or something, and now he's just going into the... He mostly just plays games because he honestly thinks that real life is just cruddy and video games are like the only way out. I mean, I understand that because I literally feel the same way as he will. With how crappy real life is, because you just want to dive into a new game. Just lose yourself in it. I mean, that's all well and good and all, but sometimes you're gonna have to wake up and smell the coffee. And we're about to catch up to where we were last time. We've already seen all this.
Hey.
Okay, now we're all officially caught up to where we were yesterday. I apologize for why this took so long, but we're finally here to Oppicum. Oppicum is only a couple leagues away. At first it seems like there's not a single person on the highway. Stein squints, scrutinizing the fortress. Curses! Frisian legions are already on the Oppicum's doorstep. The cavalry is reading the vanguard. You fancy your chances at making it to Oppicum without alluring Frisians, but you conclude they are slim. To the gate now. We have to beat them there, before all the entrances are blocked. Your daughter is doubtful. What if they can't open the gate in time? Or don't open it at all? What if they think it's a Frisian ploy? You pull Glad aside. We have to risk it. If we lose any more time, the Northerners will cut us off from Oppicum. We'll meet the Frisians by that very gate. There's a steep incline there that'll force them to dismount. Your squad darts to the fort and the Frisian horse patrol predictably gives chase. The Northerners can't intercept you in time. You jump for your horses at Oppicum doorstep and wait for the inevitable battle to unfold. You look around the fortress walls and see the archers awaiting their orders. They're in no particular hurry to shoot you or the Frisians. It's under discipline. Not a single arrow fired until the order is given. Well, we'll manage on our own. But I'm curious about Full Dive, like the store clerk who scammed him. Something's, I don't know. Like, no one has played that game, and only one other person has successfully beaten it. Yet there is no guide to it online. I don't know. You'd think a 10-year-old game like that would basically have the ability of having a guide out there. Nope. Much as I love Fisk, let's pop out Ramlin. Let's pop out Ramlin for Krieger. Okay, that's weird. Weird how this is not really doing much. But let's pop this into Fisk. Let's got this. And it has two. You can have the Iron Ring, Fisk. I think having the extra health will do you good. Weird how it vanished like that. But I'm wondering why she wants to put why the store clerk girl, Riona, I think her name is. Why does she want to keep playing Kiwami Quest even though it's a dead game? Like, only one other person has played it and yet he hasn't said anything about it? You'd think the guy would basically have printed a guide out or something. I mean, come on. I would've. Okay, actually, no, I would've just looked up a guide for this, but... Hero going in, just guns blazing without actually, you know, looking up anything. Yeah, he put that upon himself. Though, if he gives a... Although, if the anime gives some reason for him to go back into that game, instead of, like, not a pretty dang good reason, I'm gonna be mad. Then again, I feel about the guy who made Cautious Hero, so I don't have any good chances. I mean, Cautious Hero was a different beast in and of itself. It was still good, just... Well, it could have been better in some places, but the humor was pretty good. But Full Dive, it's more like just... It's kind of like trying too hard to be... It's sort of like mean-spirited comedy. And that's not really fun, that's kind of a jerk move. You know? It just got me thinking. Sorry, I'm just still a little tired. I woke up early today. Just a stream. I think my mom's up. So, I don't know, lately, like... I don't know, I mean, like, some animes are good, some anime are not, and... Well, I guess, like, one anime I'm not really gonna watch into is Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro-san. Mostly because, let's just say you guys already know that I had a lot of bad experiences with bullying, and Nagatoro is giving me flashbacks to my high school years. That is not a good sign. So, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Like, some people might think of it as comedy. I just think of it as her being a, like, she's just a bully. I have my experience with bullies. The battle's in a rush. Huh. That's a new achievement. The battle is over. You look around until you find Gletta. You nod approvingly and sheathe your sword. Virginian legions are already lining up within arrows range of the gates. Oppicum's siege has begun. You hear the crack, the creaking of gigantic hinges and heavy clanking. Heavy chains roar and metal reels shriek as Oppicum's gate opens. Better late than ever. At least you've made it. Everything else is of little importance now. We finally made it to Oppicum. But I got a bad feeling this is not going to be easy. Visca's like the only level 10 guy we got. Holy... This is the Battle of Helm's Deep right here. Is anyone getting Lord of the Rings vibes right now? Because this is like the Battle of Helm's Deep right now. Oppicum's gate closes. Frisian legions fall into the rank at the edge of the archer's range. At least you're already inside. Guards approach you. If your name's Thornbrennan and this fort's commander, Stakhavici, is waiting for you, says their sergeant. He hopes you do not come alone. But I have no idea who else he's expecting. You must know though, right? You nod and turn to catch Gletta's glaze. She's still shivering from the last battle. Max can barely keep himself on his feet. I know who to bring to Stakhavici, you say. But first, I need you to send for our healer. his grandson may need aid. The guard's face grows pale. He sends someone to find the healer and issues a few more orders. You do not utter a word and you proceed where he beckons you. Right now, all you need is a bit of respite, because you will soon face the Northerners laying siege to the Opicum. But there's no escaping an encounter with your father-in-law. You set foot inside the spacious chamber. Stockhead Vichy lunges forward, hugs Glenna and Max, then cries for the healer. He carefully places his exhausted grandson on a bunk. Stockhead then leaves Glenna with your son and pulls you aside. Glenna! Dear gods! Max, my boy! Where's your arm? How can this be? Come here, lie down. There's only on the way, with all his potions. It'll be alright. The important thing is you're alive. Thorn, never in my life did I think I'd be so indebted to you.
Huh?
I have no need for thanks, Stockhead. My children are being alive is enough. After the reaping took leaky, they've been my only reason to live. You've never been my favorite son-in-law, Thorn, but you're quite the accomplished warrior. With the enemy ready to storm our home, it's hardly the appropriate time to talk of death. Albacum is our shared home now. There will be a feast in the throne room today. Consider this your invitation. We can discuss all else afterwards. We're having a feast while under siege? That is King Treeg's will. He wishes to celebrate our heroes in such a way that future generations may never outshine them. And to boost morale, I guess. Not long before the storm strikes. Feasts rarely boost morale. They fill your belly, weigh you down. Still, I'll be there, Stockhead. King Treeg now rules in Opicum? I may command the garrison, but I play by the king's rules. Or the prince's. Highborg has fallen, Thorn. The king takes refuge in this fortress. He's plenty mad at you. I hope I don't have to throw you in the dungeon. And I guess I have no choice but to attend. Perhaps I'll ask the king to consider putting me on Opicum's main bastion and not in the dungeon. What else must I do, Stockhead? Nothing. I've already been told that Prince Ho's alive. You were the one to bring him here. I imagine the king is quite pleased. Still, try to control yourself. Controlling oneself is much easier than controlling the swing of a sword. You've no cause for concern. Can I go? Glancing at his grandchildren, I'll leave Max here. They'll give him the proper treatment. I do the same for Gladda, but she won't sit still for that long. I can see it in her eyes. My daughter, Leaky Brennan, is dead. I didn't even have to get the chance to hug her. My lineage is in great danger, and Branvici is hardly interested in preserving it. Branvici tried to murder your grandchildren, Stockhead. You'll have to stop him somehow if you want to preserve your lineage. If he's in the fort, you'll have to lock him up. In the dungeon, your quarters, or wherever you can. Just keep his madness in check. I can handle my own son without your help. Now, stay in this fortress and don't let Treeg see you till it's time. I'll send someone to arrange everything. You can go now. And let me talk to my son privately. If the siege is fierce, it may be the last time I see him. Well, we got Macht here. I hope he gets a cool prosthetic on. That'd be amazing. Gledda hugs her grandfather and pulls him aside. You approach Macht, who's clearly not happy being sentenced to bed rest. I hope you're not trying to get rid of me. I'll be back in action in a couple of days. You'll see. And please forget about breaking my arm. You have no idea how sorry I felt for you back then.
Hey.
I never meant to get rid of you. Why did you move to Albius 3 years ago? Branvici wouldn't have been able to harm you. Why'd you leave me in Oda all alone? I needed to talk to you so badly. I love so that you wouldn't feel like you had to prove anything to anyone. You're a grown man now. I have a request. Lock the door to the chamber while you're here. As long as Branvici is in the fortress, you're in danger. I forget nothing.
Hey!
I'll be back in action. I've seen warriors lose limbs. They tie their stumps with leather shafts so they can keep fighting. At times it's a matter of life and death. You're still too full of yourself, but let's let bygones be bygones. Everything in its time. Your grandfather, Gledda, and I, we all need you, but you should always do what you think is right. I felt sorry for you too, honestly. Alright. You look after yourself, and Gledda, tell her to check on me once in a while. I could sure use a honey coffee. Or even a slice of dry pecan and bread with a clove of garlic. Only if the siege drags out. If not, we'll drop by together. Stop looking like cornered prey. It's time to be a predator. Get better soon. It's nice knowing that Thorn cares so much about his kids. So does Stockhead, honestly. Much more than Brand. You leave Stockhead Fiji's quarters with Gletta. The corridors are deserted and silent, almost as if there were no siege at all. You could hear footsteps and grab the hill of your sword. Who knows who could be running around in the besieged fortress. A moment later, a figure wearing a vandal robe emerges from around the corner. You're surprised, but then you realize it's Patagang. He valiantly marches towards Count Vigi's quarters, skimming through some papers he's holding. He raises his head and notices you, then stops and breaks into a toothy smile. I am so happy to see that you are well. Rask made me your father-in-law's assistant, by the way. I haven't worked so much in my whole life, damn it. Where would we be without Rask? In any case, I'm glad to see you're here in good health, Patagang. Can you tell me the latest? Of course, my friend. I think you're already aware of the Frisians and the Prince Trieg's arrival. I think he wants to talk to you, but meeting with Frisians is a higher priority at the moment. A couple of curious individuals are already looking for you as well. Who else is after me? I understand why King Trieg holds a grudge against me. I've already talked to Stockhead. As for his son, it's their business. Who else wants to see me? Velia, daughter of Unda from Ursus. She's almost always hanging around the men here. One who sent after you, all the way from Albius. I last saw him by the wall, so he's seen you arrive. You've got nowhere to hide now. I have no intention of hiding. If someone wants to talk, it's awfully rude to turn them down. So, no one else came from Albius to Opicum? Haven't seen anyone else. There's a lot of people in the fort. Can't keep your eye on everyone. I've told you all I know, friend. Now excuse me. I've kept the guns waiting long enough. See you around. Ah, thank God. Sutler. Not many dare to make a profit in a besieged fortress, but this merchant is definitely bold or avaricious enough to do so. Let's go talk to him. We got a crap ton of stuff. Reapers and ooh. Grabbing. Oh, when soul. When does not consume energy? Might as well at least grab these. We got more gold than we know what to do with it. Okay. What the hell? Gals. Let's talk with Philia. Or maybe Hopper, honestly. Oh god, I gotta remember something to go. Never mind. Good to see you're in fine health, Thorn. You actually made it to Opicum. What do you expect? You want us to share this joy or something? I want you to keep your daughter safe. I've been following you since the Reaping began, trying to understand how you resisted the Reaper. And now I do, having seen your daughter. It was not just your valor, but also the power she holds deep within. Where does my daughter's power come from? From you and your wife, special people in your bloodline, or particularly traumatic events. They mark you for all time. Such marks of faith, both good and bad, can be passed to your children. I'm but a soldier. Yes, I've had my share of trials along the way. I've looked death in the eyes many times. Even embraced me once when I was in the Vale. So that's the reason. Gletta was born a year after that. I thought it could affect her. No one touches my daughter. They may, Thorn. I cannot promise that I'll be able to fight off the Reapers, but I'm not letting your daughter out of my sight. The Reapers? I cannot protect her from such a foe of my own. Though, why would you risk your life for Gletta? Allow me to put it in this way. Do not ever give your enemies what they want from you. Trust in me. What about the Reapers? 1,000 years ago, perhaps they simply mean to wipe us out and seize our lands. Indeed. They wish to destroy you and take your land. They've had done so for so long ago, where the stars favorably aligned. Some manners are not yet powerful enough. Their rulers are in a deep slumber or dead. And your people are not so easy to kill. So, you're one of them, aren't you? I'm a rat that fled a sinking ship. I'm not one of them. And I do not wish to see destruction on your lands, Thorn, though it will likely come. The world of these Outlanders is dead, burnt to ash. Perhaps this one's fate will be the same. There's nowhere to run now, for any of us. You're worried about saving your own skin? That must be why you don't want the Reapers getting a hold of the Gladys in power. I have to go. We'll talk later. There may not be a next time. Are you certain you've nothing else to ask? First, I need to figure out if I believe you. Too many odd and terrifying truths have been presented themselves to me lately. I understand. It's difficult, realizing that all you know of the world's inner workings amount to nothing, and I shan't push it. Words mean little to you anyway, right? You're a man of action. You'll want to see what I can do first. Exactly. It's a deal then. I have to go now. See you later. Well, we're learning a bit more about what the heck the Reapers are. You arrive at the square. Despite all the commotion, you spot the motionless figure of a woman standing near the menhir. It seems that it really is Philia. You should at least thank her for protecting your daughter. Suddenly, the square is bustling. You hear the clanking of armor and the nervous neighing of horses. A cavalry unit, with a fresh, festively clad temple servant in the lead, passes you. I have to deliver news, and our plea will help for the Primarch. The monk assures the guard. I care not if Gels are trying to lay siege to Opicum. The power of the Temple of Divine Retribution protects me better than any army. For some reason, this temple servant conjures feelings of repulsion and danger. You try to ignore them. After all, the monk is only looking out for himself, same as any temple servants would. He likely hopes that the horses are fast enough to get him out of the besieged fort. A temple servant catches your eye and squints as if trying to remember if he's seen you before. Finally, he brings him to a smile. Oh wait, that's Karanzan! The fort has not to fear with such brave protectors at the helm. Submit yourself to the will of the gods. You see the monk off, cross the square, and walk up to the menhir. Oh man, I just realized that was Karanzan. You made it to Opicum after all, Thorn. I'm glad I was right about you. Also, hello to whoever just popped in. I hope the the connection's still going. It dropped out a few minutes ago. Philia, thank you for protecting my daughter. How may I be of service to you? It was I who came here to aid you, to warn you of the danger to you and your people, to tell you why you're all here. Consider me my mother's messenger, if you will. What danger are you talking about? Someone among those called to this fortress is to be sacrificed. That's all that matters. Opicum is the Reaper's final obstacle. If it falls, the marked one will be destroyed. That's the whole reason you were looking for me? Just to tell me about some convoluted prophecy? Mark this, sacrifice that. What's one sacrifice compared to the thousands of lives being lost? The sacrifice will awaken one of those who command the menhir's power. He is stronger than the Reapers. Even put together, he is stronger than them. So someone will have to bear this mark and be sacrificed, which will summon one more powerful than the Reapers, in the hopes that doing so will help the Northerners capture Opicum? Do you yourself believe this? I'm not asking you to believe, only to remember. Understanding shall come later. As for the nebulous nature of the prophecy, well, its outcome is uncertain. When I met you a year ago, I had said you're out of your damn mind. But I saw a lot on the road from Albius to here. I'll remember your words. What does this have to do with your mother? My mother taught me everything I know, though I still struggle to even be a fraction as wise. I'm just a good healer, and a bit of a witch. Nothing more. Wait. Those bracelets you wear, are just like my daughter's. A sorceress by the name of Chila gave them to her. My mother has many names. Chila is just one of them. Is but one. Well, I never. Alright, if your mother is so wise, did she perhaps tell you how it all ends? Is there a chance of survival? If memory serves, your mother was an exceptional seer, was she not? I asked her about that myself. She gave no definitive answer, just said that there is hope. Although we might also bear witness to the end of this world. Nothing is certain even for her.
Hey.
know what to make of it. Fate is either in your hands or we're forever trapped within its bounds. Still knowing Sheila, it's her way to speak of such mysteries. Is that all you gotta say? I'll take my leave then. I hope you understand my mother's warning. How should I know what all this is about? Reapers, prophecies, marks, and other hogwash. I hope it becomes clear with time. I don't think it's gonna become clearer to something. The Frisian legions are stacked neatly in a row while the Gels gather in droves. On the one hand, I want to go to the feast. On the other hand, I also want to see what this whole Gels thing is about. Let's see. Oh. The melancholic cry of yelling pipes can be heard near Oppicum. The Highlanders have encircled the fortress. God touches your hand. Dad, I think I'm feeling the same magic that led the Gels to Oppicum. It's like horrifying music without any sound. The Gels are angry. I can feel it. Where did it come from? Well, might as well tell her. Gonna seems at a loss. So you say that they buy and sell slaves, ravage caravans, and kill travelers because they got a lot of pent-up energy? Of course not. I laugh. Take the Paladins, for example. To them, pillaging is just like hunting or fishing is to a Parkan. But for a Gel, every skirmish, robbery, and battle is like a continuation of a never-ending war. One that's claimed his family and burned his village to the ground. It does not matter if it was 2 or 3 centuries ago, and if the last scars have been healed for 10 generations. Glenna squints. What can be done? Arcana's been trying to pacify the Gels for centuries, and here they are clawing at Oppicum's walls. They already rule the entire Vandal forest. What should we do? Grind your teeth. Kill those who must die, but spare the innocents. Although, those Gels blowing their pipes outside the walls were once innocent too. What's so quiet all of a sudden, you know? You only grow up once you realize that some questions have no answer. That is more true than you'd think. I mean, if we're going by medieval society, this kind of stuff happened all the time. But let's not keep Trig waiting. To the feast! Time tenses up like a string of a bard's lute. Frisian pipes can be heard outside. The bell clangs up in the tower. The feast is nigh, and it might just be the last one of your life. You look around. Quite a lot of guests, it seems. You notice Stockhead Vichy under the castle's arc. The old man seems to not want to leave you alone. Well, have a companion might not be so bad. You've never been to the throne room of Oppicum. Frigga was built by Gabonan kings to rule the Vandal forest, while Oppicum was meant to be the keystone for all of Parcana. None of that came to pass. Stockhead turned to the throne room and into the dining hall. If you live long enough to reminisce, this ought to be an experience to remember. Guards open the tall doors before Stockhead Vichy. You hear King Trig's furious cry. He stands in the center of the empty throne room, fists clenching, a soldier's pulse at his feet. Upon seeing you, he fills with anger. He drops on one knee and remains still. Shek's body is at Trig's feet, pierced by a bolt similar to those of Brand's mercenaries. Brand's father stands beside you. A wrathful king stands before you. He has just lost one of his best men. You've nothing to say. Oh my god, Shek's dead? Oh, if it was Brand, I am slitting his throat. I'm sorry, that punk needs to go. I'm at your service, Your Majesty. I have no doubt about that thorn, but I'm more curious as to the identity of my guard commander's assassin. He was killed shortly after I sent him after you. And what's with the bolt? Stockhead, what's going on in this fortress of yours? I'll have the whole fortress up in it. All of it. This scum will never escape retribution. Should we call it the feast? If it were to take place here, you'd be in danger, Your Majesty. We're all in danger, but I will not call out the beast. No scoundrel will change my mind. I laugh in my enemy's face. But now I wish to speak with Thorn Brennan. Wait, is that my son I see? Thank the gods, Ho. Come and stand by your father's side. I'll never let you go again. Father, don't forget your promise. I remember everything, believe me. I'm quite capable of weighing all the factors before coming to a decision. No harm will come to the blameless. Captain, you've been given the opportunity to show your loyalty to Oppicum's ramparts. You come to this fortress to defend it, not to hide. Is that so? It is. And for this opportunity, I'm deeply grateful, Your Majesty. I've never hidden, and I never will. We will speak again, Thorn Brennan. You've still got much to tell me. Consider the coming feast a kind of funeral. We're holding it while those about to die are still with us. Well, at least some of them. Morbid? The king walks away, leaving his son with you. Hod's lips are tight, his brows knit together. By all signs, he's very determined to do what? You wish you knew. We're in Oppicum under siege. Many things will be decided here, but I sense your hesitation. Tell me one thing. My father wishes to keep me on a short leash, it seems. I'm of a different opinion. Still in need of a trusted warrior who's good at throwing knives and won't get cold feet? On the one hand, we finally got Hode here to his father, and he isn't going to try to kill me. On the other hand, I don't really use him. I haven't really any need for him, but at the same time, I wonder if keeping him here will make sure he survives. I mean, he barely survived the last time. Last time he was with us, he barely survived. Let's at least keep him with us. Perfect. I'm still hot then, and you're my captain. I won't tell my father just in case, but I'll join you out to the feast. You remain in the dining hall and watch the servants take Shek's body away. They mop up his blood and set the tables. Guests with bleak faces fill the dining hall. No one touches their food. No one takes a seat by your side. Gladys shivers and rubs her shoulders. Dad, it's Brand Vichi's bolt. He needs his bodyguards. But where could he be hiding? Why would he do this? Shek was his enemy and could have accused him of stealing. You took Glada. As for hiding, Oppicum is riddled with secret passages. No one knows them all. Bran has been coming here with his father since he was a boy. Your mother told me that Bran liked to ambush people with the contents of his chamber pot, but no one ever caught him in that act. Might want to stay. Let's tell Glad to stay alert. Yeah. You're joined by Hopper, who is just as alarmed. Something's amiss in this fortress. It's bad enough that Shek's been killed. Now they're saying that Stakha Vichi's son had a hand in stealing funds from Ursus, and he might be hiding here on Oppicum. To make matters worse, I have a splitting headache. Maybe caused by another's magic, but I'm not sure. Hopper looks around the throne room and shrugs. Perhaps I'm just need to sleep off this headache. The conversation drowns out in the middle of trumpets. Enough talk, you say. Get up, the king's here. The doors open again to let King Tregan. Looking morose, he does not immediately take a seat at the head of the table and deliver a speech. Instead, he takes time to walk around the hall with his entourage, shaking hands and embracing each of his guests. All signs indicate that the feast is a farewell ritual. Letta, stay behind Hopper. Letta looks at you and whispers something discomfort with the situation. She feels like something's about to happen. She looks at you, then again at Shriek. The king draws closer. You place your hand on the hilt of your blade. What could possibly go wrong at a feast where all the guests can be trusted? The king approaches. When he reaches you, he stops for a moment, but does not offer his hand. We still need to talk, Thorn Brennan, he says before moving on. You freeze in a courteous bow. The king has shown you that you've fallen from his grace. No one wonders what will happen to you now. You expect the worst, that thoughts overwhelm you. However, your own fate is not the reason. The king resumes his place on the throne and signals for the feast to commence. The guests grow more talkative and merry the more they drink. You can still feel the king's piercing gaze upon you. Luckily, the feast does not last long. The room falls silent as the king prepares to deliver an important message. The king rises, pointing to the stain on the floor. On this very spot, a treacherous villain killed my friend Shek, the commander of the guard. Today, I lament him, just as I would lament any of you, just as you'd lament me. Depends on whose luck runs out first. But this feast is no funeral banquet, Shriek continues. It's an occasion to meet new friends and hear important news. No aid is coming. We should brace ourselves for anything. Avacum is thought to be impregnable, and our scouts report only moderate numbers of Frisians. But, lest we forget, it is reap time. All Burkhan troops have been mobilized, the king bellows. They protect our homes from the ensigns and other abominations. Avacum is our frontier. It has never been taken, and it shall not be taken while we still live. The feast is over, King Trig announced as the cheering subsides. Everyone returns to the defensive positions. Guards, escort Thornbread into the dungeon. Before the guards lead you away, you see Prince Ho's eyes flash with rage at his father. The king calmly shakes his head. You don't get to see the rest of the royal spat.
In the place where everything ends, the source of all being must flow. If you don't see it, you're not there yet.
Chapter 9. I managed to save Trig's life. Usually around this time is when Trig dies. Well, the awkward feast is over. Apart from King Trig's inspiring speech, there was nothing noteworthy. Something odd was in the air. Like a strand of Minerva's magic. Unless you're imagining things, the spell did not work. Beside you was Glenna Brennan, still shaken from the guards taking her father away. You sense mysterious power within her, the seemingly fragile girl. Lilia's power, you suddenly realize, is no lesser. Okay. Ushan. Alright, Em. Well, I'm calling here for today, folks. That all happened. I'm gonna have to rename this episode from Chaos to something a bit more appropriate to this. But we finally made it all the way to Opicum. All the players are here. Thorn is in prison. Trig, here's the thing. Usually it would either be Tenor, Stein, or someone else who would kill Trig. There would have to be a certain thing you'd have to do, like killing, like it would have to be either Tenor, Trig, or like three other people who would kill him. There's an achievement if you manage to get to Trig, if you manage to keep Trig alive. But I think there's also an achievement if you manage to save the prince. Hod, I think. I think there's actually an achievement if you get him to be crowned. But we managed to save his dad, at the very least, even though Thorn's in prison. So, looks like next time on I'm Drinking Monk, and next time on Ash of God's Redemption, we're finally hitting the endgame. I got no idea what to expect here. But honestly, all the decisions we've made, this is probably gonna be like the last fight of the whole freaking game. Pretty dang soon, honestly. Well, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and I'll see all of you next week. Hopefully, with the vaccination shot, I'll be okay. I'll probably still be I'll still probably be okay, just still sickly. But other than that, If not, well, you'll understand, right? Anyway, see you guys next time. Laters.